It was the month of February, the year was 1630. The Mughal Empire, steadily expanding under the leadership of Emperor Akbar, had entered the Deccan. After Akbar's death in 1605, the Mughals under the ease-loving Jahangir could hardly make any headway against the Nizam Shahi kingdom's minister, Malik Amber. With Malik's death in 1626, and ascension of Prince Shah Jahan to Mughal throne, the Mughals became active again. The Maratha chief, Lakhuji Jadhav Rao, who had stood against Mughals, along with Nizam Shahi kingdom, was murdered along with his relatives. Disgusted by this, his son-in-law Shivaji Bhonsle, a brilliant young leader, withdrew his alliance with the Nizam Shahis. His land holding was invaded by the troops of Bijapur, when he was attending his eldest son, Sambhaji's marriage. He left his wife, who was expecting a child, at Shivneri, and left to supervise the protection of his land holding. At this time, the Mughals under Shah Jahan marched towards Deccan, being determined to put an end to Nizam Shahi dynasty. On February 19, 1630, in the Nizam Shahi fort of Shivneri, was born Shivaji. Who was to pose the mightiest challenge to the Mughal Empire. The troops from Bijapur continued their attacks on the land holdings of Shahji in Pune. The Mughals under Azam Khan were winning battles and conquering Nizam Shahi territories, thus Shahji decided to serve under the Mughals, and actively participated in their campaigns. But not for long, he broke away from them due to their maltreatment, and started his fight against them, but couldn't prevent the Mughals from capturing Daulatabad. But he kept up a relentless struggle against the Mughals with support from Adil Shah. But Shah Jahan was determined to put an end to the Nizam Shahis. In 1636, the struggle ended. Shahji surrendered his possessions. Shivaji was 7 at this time. Shahji decided to settle down in Bangalore. His wife Jijabai bore him 6 children, but only 2 survived. Jijabai moved to Pune along with Shivaji, to take care of their land holdings there. When Shivaji was just 12 years, the Jaghir was entrusted to him. He took charge under the guidance of his mother, a lady of a remarkable character, to whom he was deeply attached. Shivaji grew up into a man of firm beliefs and devotion to his creed and culture. It was this pride in the great heritage of the country, a deep religious instinct, and a broad spirit of tolerance, which blossomed under the affectionate and watchful eye of his mother. This Jaghir, though not big, was strategically located. Sahyadri hill ranges in north, to borders of Goa in south, provided enough land to a brave, hardy population who were fiercely independent and assertive. There was a continuous migration from Turkey, Persia, Arab and Africa. And the Pathans came from north. 2 prominent states in the Deccan grew under Shah Jahan, one Golconda, and the other Bijapur. Shivaji grew up in the hills and valleys of Pune. The people he administered found it safe and convenient to remain loyal to Bijapur. Shivaji's first experience with harsh realities occurred when he was barely 14 years old. The Jaghirs or land holdings granted to officials and noblemen in lieu of services. In the absence of defense strongholds, like forts, they were easily overrun, causing a great deal of suffering. But soon, peace returned, and Shahji was restored to duty. But the lesson was not lost on Shivaji. The desire to possess a fort, and build new ones for the purpose of defense, must have occurred to him when he was just 15 years. The Bijapur king, Adil Shah, was taken ill in 1646. His prolonged illness put the affairs of Bijapur into big confusion. At the same time, Dadoji, Shahji's manager, died. He was a great support to Shivaji. Shiva soon took possession of the fort of Rajghat and the fort of Torna. His biggest achievement was, however, the peaceful possession of Khandena. The Bijapur court was naturally alarmed by this. Adil Shah ordered his general Fateh Khan to march against Shivaji, in Khandena region. Shivaji made preparations to meet this danger, by maintaining his base in Purandar. Meanwhile, Shivaji heard the shocking news of his father's arrest, on charges on intriguing with Golconda. Shahji's Jagirs in Bangalore were invaded. They were defended tenaciously by Sambhaji, the elder brother of Shivaji. Shivaji fiercely encountered the forces of Bijapur, where they broke and fled, leaving their leader, Musa Khan, among the dead. But his father was still in the captivity of Adil Shah. To get him restored was a tough task. Shivaji corresponded with Prince Murad, the Mughal governor of Deccan, during which Shahji's release took place, and was restored to favor. But Shivaji had to pay the price of giving up the fort of Khandena or Simigad. Shahji, Sambhaji and others received ranks, cash rewards, and posts from Shah Jahan. Shivaji took the position of his father's agent in Pune, and administered it. Within 5 years, he was in full possession of Pune and surroundings. Next he targeted Konkan coast, from where goods arrived from other countries. Slowly the Bahmanis disappeared, and Deccan kingdoms integrated. Shivaji started infusing the idea of purely native power, in place of dynastic states dominated by foreign powers. The Marathas were fast disintegrating, under the mighty Mughals. If they had to come into their own in their homeland, they had to be organized, under a daring leadership. Make sure to subscribe, so you don't miss out on my future videos. The more subscribers I get, again the better and more content I can continue making. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.